Hello there, my fellow curious minds, and welcome back to Tech Advantage, the podcast where we talk about technology, business, and personal growth. I'm your host, Tondow Abraham, co-founder and head of technologies at Blue Mind. Today on this podcast, we have a special guest, Miss Ella, and she's going to be sharing a lot of great stuff with us regarding digital well-being. So please introduce yourself, ma'am.
Okay. I love your podcast. It's good to
Thank
be
you.
here finally. Wait, it's been a long time coming. Okay, so my name is Ella. As you know, you said I do a lot of things. I'm multidisciplinary. But yeah, for the sake of today, I'll just say what it is that I do. I'm very passionate about the mind, psychology, and the well-being of the state of the mind. So that has pushed me into researching a lot about how our current, day, present state, and the things that we have evolved into and developed affect our minds. One of which is technology, which is very, it's a very intricate part of our lives. So basically, I do a lot of research about technology and how technology can help people, how people can use technology to better their lives instead of technology taking away from us. Yeah. So
Okay,
that's me.
that's so great, and I hope you give us a lot of great insights on, better ways to use technology other than we have previously known. So now we'll just move straight forward to all we'll be discussing. Before I dive into any detailed questions, let's just start off on the surface. So you've worked across creative fields in the construction operations and now your major is the digital well-being. Now, what personal experiences first made you question how technology affects people?
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I do a lot of things. And because of that, I tend to not have a lot of time on my hands. Okay, but I always find that I have a lot of time to be on my phone. And because of the time that I put into my phone, I discovered that you can check how much time you spend on your phone. I was just fumbling around because I was always not achieving my goals at the end of the day or at the end of the week or at the end of the month or even at the end of the year. And I was look back and I was like, so what was I really doing? Because there are so many things that would be left undone and all of that. And eventually I found out that, you can track your phone use on your phone. So I did. One day I said, okay, let me just observe how much time I spend on my phone. And boy, I was surprised to
Was
see
a
how much
huge
time I
number,
had on my
right?
hands that I wasn't using effectively.
Wow.
The first time I saw that I had used my phone for 12 hours. I was
Wow.
on my phone for 12 hours that day. And
Sorry,
averagely, yeah, okay.
before you go on, we had CDS last week at the NYC, and my CDS is digital literacy. So one guy told us that he spent about 12 hours on his phone,
Okay.
per day.
Yeah.
And when he said
Yeah.
that, everybody there was so surprised. And I'm like, why are you guys even surprised? Like this
We should
is
check their own.
yeah, they should also check that out because I feel like some people that were surprised would even find themselves in that
Yeah,
category.
exactly. So after this discovery, I was like, no, this is wrong. Come on, why is this happening? And I'm always telling myself, I don't have time for the things that actually matter and the things that are important. So with that discovery, I started to do some more research, understand why my phone use was so high, and of course, try to take measures to also not be on my phone for that long. And, aside from my goals, I also realized that my relationships were suffering. My interaction with people, I was online a lot, which means I should be connected, right? And I should be all social and everything.
True.
But, there are some people that, I would leave on red for months. And then I'll go back later and see, I didn't, and then I'll be feeling too guilty to respond at that time. Or there are
You
people
see,
that I wouldn't call for months.
yeah,
So I wasn't really connected to people who I should be
specific to
connected
this,
to.
you know
Yeah,
that I feel like this is one of the reasons why WhatsApp even enabled that double tick but no blue feature,
exactly.
because so many people don't even get to respond to message. Now, me personally,
Yes.
I'm not a
I
big
still have
believer
my
of.
blue ticks off.
Yes, you are. You do, and you're a digital well-being advocate. You should change
Yeah,
that.
but actually that's one of the things that is wrong WhatsApp did, having that blue tick because it puts you under anxiety to respond when you don't want to. There are certain times that you may not want to. So
I'm a
we'll come
strong
to that
believer of,
anyways.
sorry, I have left my blue tick as seen. The
Yeah.
reason why my boss told me that, the reason why he leaves his blue tick enabled is because he wants to allow whoever sends the message know that I have seen the message. Regardless of my
Mm-hmm.
response, the message has been
Okay.
delivered. So if
That's integrity.
you put the blue tick turned off, how then am
Yeah.
I certain that the message is delivered? So it's
Yes.
better you leave it on. You read it, you don't respond immediately, but the person that
Mm-hmm.
sends it knows that you have
Knows that
actually
you've
sent the
seen the
message.
message.
That's
That's
that's a
true.
very good point of view from how you
Yeah,
explained it to me.
that's
Because
another
then
perspective.
I never turned off my blue ticks till today, and I don't think I ever will.
You're a champion. You are.
No.
You are. No, really. I think the reason why I have my blue ticks off is because I'm very, what's the word now? Should I say, I don't like to make people feel bad. So when my blue ticks are on and I see your message and I respond, I've read your message and I'm under pressure to respond because I don't want you to feel like, oh, I saw your message and I'm ignoring you or I'm ghosting you or all of that. So that's why I said on the flip side, it's also bad because you're under pressure to respond and to be on your phone responding to a lot of messages when you are really not in that position, that frame of mind, or when you should be doing other things. So I have my blue ticks off. And then when eventually I get to my phone and I have to deal with text and whatever, I know that that period I'm dealing with my phone and I'm responding to your messages, even though. So I think, it works either way for
Yeah, yeah, true. It's
anybody.
just
Yeah.
specific
Yeah.
to
So it
how
depends on how you
your
see
own
it.
work. Yeah, sorry, it's more specific to their own perspective. So I feel like that
Yes,
will work
exactly.
regardless.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're having a great conversation so far, and I'm so
Yeah.
excited about how this is gonna go. So we just
Hey,
moved to the
same.
next phase of questions now.
Okay.
A lot of people hear digital well-being and they majorly just think about screen time. Now,
Mm-hmm.
from your perspective as an advocate, how, or rather, what does digital well-being actually mean? Like, I want you to give us an elaborate distinction between the digital well-being and the digital wellness, just as you had stated earlier.
Okay. So let's start with digital well-being. What is digital well-being? The point blank statement is that digital well-being is your relationship with your devices, your phones, your laptops, and all the other devices that you spend your time on. It is, using devices in a way that supports your mental health, your physical health, your social health, your psychological health, all of that put together. Um, you know, Essentially your phone should be used to aid your life, not take
Yeah,
away from it.
not take
So
away
digital
from it.
well-being is finding that balance in using your phone in such a way that it can be healthy. It can be a healthy use of your devices, because there's
Okay,
actually unhealthy use of your devices.
that's great. Stated phone majorly, and
Mm-hmm.
and I think for me, I'm not even a mobile phone guy. A lot of people have
Mm-hmm.
complained, trying to reach me, call me, and I'm just so unavailable. But
Yeah.
70% of the time, I'm active on my PC. So, and and since it relates all around to devices, and
Yes. It does.
I feel like it's even easier to be a lot more productive on a PC than a smartphone, because the social media apps don't really work like the websites on the
Mm-hmm.
mobile. So many of the social media platforms are very seamless. Like it's so easy to scroll and check out the
Mm-hmm.
next post, check out the next.
Yep.
But on a
Absolutely. Yes. Because they
PC,
want you to
there's
stay on
so
it.
much backlog. Like there's so much things you have to move your mouse. You have to then find the next button to switch to go to the next
Mm-hmm.
page, and
Absolutely.
then you
Yeah.
just in the process of doing all of that, you then even remember that, oh, I actually do have something to do. But when it's so easy
Exactly.
to just swipe up and check out the next feed, man, you
Yes.
just keep doing that.
Yeah, because those applications are optimized to keep you on them for as long as possible, right?
Hmm.
So your phones are designed to actually keep you on your phones for as long as possible. They are designed to keep you glued to your screens for as long as possible because, they need your attention, right? To be able to
Yeah.
sell things to you. Yeah, they need
But
your
how do
attention to be able to sell things to you,
but how do
So,
you sorry, how do you see poor digital habits now? Like in showing up in everyday life, like work, relationship. Is there a specific way that you could just track and know that, oh, this person actually does have the bad digital habits?
First one, which is like the biggest one,
Yeah.
when you feel like without your phone, you are missing a limb. Some
Wow.
people cannot move, without their phones in their hands. I mean, I personally have experienced this. And okay, let me give you a story. There was a day I left the house and I forgot my phone. That happens more often now because I've been able to regulate myself, or I'm working on it. But
Okay.
then when I left the house and something happened, I think I was rushing out and I left my phone. And I kept feeling like something was missing from my life. It was a really deep sense of like there's
Wow.
something, and
Yeah.
it was like when I realized it, I was like, oh my God, this phone has become an extension of me. I was anxious that there was something really important that was not with me. So, first sign of unhealthy phone or device use is that you feel anxious and you feel unsettled when your phone is
Mhm.
not within reach. When you
Wow.
can't see it, when you can't hold
Very
it,
true.
you just feel like, oh my God, something is not right. That is
Yeah.
unhealthy, bro. And then of course, your screen time, you there's a way
Okay.
to check your screen time. You should set your phone to it.
I
Every
actually
phone has digital well-being, settings on them.
actually have never checked my screen time. I feel like
Oh,
after this
you
episode,
should.
I will check it and send it to
You
you.
should. You should. You go to your settings on your phone, and then there's
Yeah.
digital well-being for most phones.
Yeah.
And then you just, check your screen time, or you set it to count your screen time, because I don't think it automatically happens, or for some
Okay.
phone it does.
Okay.
So yeah. So your screen time, right, and your inability to focus on a task for a long time.
Hmm.
Sometimes you can't just sit on a task. Like you have work to do. You need to write this
Yeah.
memo. You need to design this thing. You
Yeah.
need to work on this project. But you go in front of your computer and you sit down and you're about to work, or you even start and then like 5 minutes in you pick up your phone to check a message that did not come in, or to
That.
just you know these are the things. These are the signs.
Wow.
It means that you have
See this phrase
some
you just
some
made? I feel like you just called my name because I rarely have anybody reach out to me via WhatsApp, and I always go check the app only to find out that there's nothing
Exactly.
there.
You just want to check. It's not, you see, that's the thing. It's a brain thing. It's, you are checking to see what's new because your brain wants something new. Because your brain is used to your device giving you something new, and that kicks your dopamine. So your mind just says, okay, check if there's something new so that we can get some more dopamine.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
that's basically it. So checking your phone, when you're supposed to be focused at work, checking your phone first thing in the morning, it's also another pointer that, man, you are like dependent on this device. There's a lot of them actually, but yeah. So
You're just giving very
yeah,
great
and
insight.
also you can't remember things, you forget more easily, these days. That's something that
Yeah.
I'm currently dealing with and working on, because my memory has been really poor. But it's getting better, because once you start training your brain, everything
Yeah.
has to do with the brain. And so these people wire these devices to tap into those areas of your brain that, makes you dependent on them. And as your brain becomes dependent on them and repeated actions that shows dependency, it also loses some part of, the strengths in your brain, like memory, focus, attention, and all of those things. It
Yeah.
loses those sides of it. So once you reverse the situation and you fix your dependency on your devices, you also now begin to get your focus back, your memory back, and all of that.
All right. All right.
Yep.
That's very good insight. Thank you so much. Before I further, specific to this, your story about leaving your phone and going out and then you got so anxious. So let me tell you
Yeah.
my own story.
Okay.
So one of the reasons why I've been able to like detach myself from my devices is just as a result of my experiences from the past. I've
Okay.
I've always like lose my phones in public places.
Oh, okay.
I'm in a cab, it could just fall out of my pockets and I wouldn't even know till I'm like at
No.
home. And then I just try to check my phone and I see it's gone. I went to the market one time, I picked a call and I just kept the phone on the counter and I forgot it was mine and I left. Only for me to come back and it
Wow.
was taken by someone else.
Oh my
So
God.
whenever I'm like whenever I want to like check out something on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
look up anything like a research or even social media, my mobile phone is
Mm-hmm.
never my go-to device. It's always my
Mm.
PC. So that's
Okay.
why that's why I've been able to like detach myself from my phone. And over time it has now become like a bad habit because I now end up losing these devices in public
Yeah.
places.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I feel like if you try to like make that an intentional habit, like not having to use your mobile phone for anything that you want to find out
Mm-hmm.
on the internet, that would just
Yeah.
also reduce your
Yeah.
usage
Yeah.
time.
And that, and of course, but that's for people who have the luxury of having like, a PC,
That is
and
also
other devices or other
yeah,
gadgets that they can use. And the thing about having using your PCs is that mobile phones are mobile, right?
yes, they
They're
are.
really handy. They're really handy. They're small, convenient. Everything is on them. Your calculator, your alarm clock, your bank, your
That is very true.
restaurant. Like it's everything, so it's so handy, and it now feels like a part of your life
Yeah,
because,
yeah,
everything is on there. Your
yes.
notepad, your
Literally
family
everything
members.
on your PC you could get.
Everything is on the phone. So, it's so handy and it's so easy to carry around. So, it becomes a part of you. But if you're able to actually take out some of those things from
Yes.
your phone, like for me, I invested in getting like an alarm clock because I
Oh,
don't want to use my phones in the morning. Yeah, like the old fashioned, and because you see,
I can't
if
remember
you
when last
check
I used
sometimes, yeah, some of these things, some like, if you go back in time and look at the quality of life and the
yeah,
quality of mental health that people had before technology really advanced into, what it is now, you realize that there was some level of peace. Mental health was better, and research backed actually that the advent of social media has is like the graph. If you're plotting a graph and you're
yeah.
saying, okay, mental health incline parallel to social media incline, it's the same thing. Mental health
Wow.
is plummeting and social media use is going up, and
They're just
phone
like
use is
inversely
going up.
proportional.
Yeah, so there needs to just be like a really deliberate separation. Like you said, you deliberately, you know, said, okay, for certain functions, I will not use my phone because
Mine
I
wasn't
always
daily.
have it.
Happen as a voluntary habit over time.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, but it can be deliberate.
Yeah, true.
You can say, okay, for certain functions, I will not use my phone because then I would, pick it up and then be on the phone for countless hours. Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
another sign that, you have an unhealthy use. You pick up your phone to check something. Maybe you want to go and check like an e-commerce app or whatever. And then you find out like 2 hours later, you have been
You're
pressing your
doing
phone
something
without
else. Yeah.
intention.
And you
Yeah.
probably haven't even checked the thing that you took the phone for in the first.
Yes, exactly.
That has happened
What
to
brought
me.
me here?
That's such a flaw.
Crazy.
So
Uh,
yeah, let's just move up forward to the next question. Now, from your work and your research, do you think
yeah,
technology today is designed for humans like interactiveness or majorly just engagements and metrics?
yeah. I mean, I think the answer is pretty obvious.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
But the reason why I'm asking this
yeah,
question is so
well,
that I can get an insight from your point of view as an average.
yeah. I do get that. Okay, our phones were designed initially. I mean, the internet and phones were designed for connectivity to make it easier to connect with other people and to connect with information. I don't know if at the very beginning, the makers of this technology had it in mind that they were going to farm data and attention from people.
Yes.
But there's a saying, a popular saying that if something is free, you're the product.
Yes.
Most of these applications are free. Most of these, apps are free. And because of that, the makers have to make money. They
Yeah. They
have to find
produce
a
the
way.
product.
Yeah, they
I
have to
remember
find a
reading
way
that
to make
on
money.
your ebook.
Yeah, exactly. They have
Yeah.
to find a way to make money. And because of that, they optimize the app to take as much attention as possible because It's only in that way that they can sell you to advertisers, where
True.
they make their money from. They have people paying them for your attention. So, and if they're
Yes.
paying them for your attention, they have to make sure they get as much of your attention as possible from
It's
you.
possible.
I was listening to something, to a podcast the other day, and the person said a lot of people, look for what the actual value of man is, what's the most valuable thing in your life. And he said, no,
Yeah.
it's not money. And a lot of people say it's time. But time in itself is not the, currency of value. It is your attention that is value. Because whatever you pay attention, and the word is paying attention, because that is
Yes.
where you're actually spending your
And
time.
oh, I'm just getting a new
Right?
perspective from this.
Yeah, you're spending your time. So you're spending your time with your attention. Your attention is the currency. So that is
Hmm.
what, you have the most value for. Whatever you pay attention to is what, becomes the biggest thing in your life. If you pay attention to your job, your project, your phone, your social media or whatever it
Yes.
is you pay the most attention to gets you the most products. You become the most productive at that thing. So, they
I
have to
think
buy and suck as much attention from you. And so they have to optimize those applications and your device in itself to ensure
yeah,
that your attention stays. So I
stays
wouldn't
with
say that, your phones are optimized or they're, created to foster interaction like that. I think it's more about, let's get as much attention as we can from this person, and because
but I think
that's
I
how they
told you
pay their
about
bills.
this. Sorry,
What?
I think I told you about this previously now. I stumbled upon a video from the CEO
Yeah.
of Apple, and the interviewer was asking him how he's able to manage his screen time.
Ah,
And
yeah.
the major thing he did was contradict himself and his products. Ideally, anybody that's a CEO of Apple would
Yeah.
ultimately try to sell the brand as glamorous, how effective
Absolutely.
the phone is and
Yeah.
all of that stuff. But he majorly iterated on all of the things you're stating now. He said
Mm-hmm.
he knows how much time your mobile phone can steal from you, so he finds a way to take out all of such distractions from his mobile device so that he can
Imagine
then,
that.
even they that make these products are fully aware of the downsides to all of these
Yeah.
things, but yet
Absolutely, they are.
but they still have to make money,
Of course,
so
they
they
still
have
have to
no
make
choice.
money. It's a capitalist world, bro. Yeah, they have to make their money. They have to. So absolutely, a lot of, you saw that one interview. I've seen one from, an executive at Facebook. I've seen
Yeah,
another from, another Google, I think he was a developer at Google. Then there's some psychologists too, like media psychologists that they've worked with. And I even saw an Instagram reel one time of, it was a tech company. And I don't
okay.
know, I think it's just a tech company, not really a device or applications company, but they were asking each other about all of these interactions, Google and all of those places. They were asking each other about your phone use. And
Yeah,
the answer across board is that, oh, I don't use my phone as much. Oh, I don't give phones to
just
my kids
imagine.
unless they're like 18. Oh, I
Wow,
don't, I keep my phone use so like 1 hour a day, and it's in a specific place in the house. Oh, in my house, everybody drops their phones at the door,
wow,
and we don't use it anymore. That was the answer across board. It was like uniform. And I was like, oh my God,
very
these
effective,
people know these
right?
things. Yeah, they know how much time and attention your phones can steal from you. And they have optimized their lives to ensure that they give most of their time to what matters and not their phones. So they keep their phones at designated areas in their houses. There's a lot of things that they do that we don't do, and
Here
we are
we
the
are.
consumers of these things, and it's like slowly just taking over our lives.
Here
It's
we are
crazy.
thinking, taking our mobile phones as luxury. Everybody trying to get latest devices,
Yeah, they do.
seamlessness, speed, all
In
of this.
fact, I think one of them says, "Oh, he doesn't use smartphones. He uses like these regular analog phones. I don't know what they're called."
Yeah,
Yeah, and some of them they even use pagers. I was like, who uses pagers in the 21st century? But yeah, some of them, because they know that, you see, and the thing is,
yeah,
your phone you think like, oh, it's a battle that I can win. They know that your phone is created, or is created to tap into those things in your brain that you really can't control in a way.
Yeah.
So they avoid it as much as possible, especially if they don't have as much discipline. Because you need a lot of discipline and a
And,
lot of
and I
control,
feel like
self control.
it's very intentional if you're very much aware of what you shouldn't fight against. Because it's one thing to be very self aware about some battles and you just quit even beforehand and take the right
Yes.
actions to just get rid of them. But then
Yes.
thinking I'll ultimately like win a struggle, it might just be a flaw.
Yeah. Yeah. And unfortunately, the way where the way the society, or the world is designed today, you need your phone. There's this book I was reading about. I think the title is "Break Up with Your Phone." I can't remember the author now. And I
Okay.
was like, but we can't really break up with our phones. Unfortunately, we can't. We need it
Unfortunately.
for business. We need it for work. We need it for connecting with family. And yeah, a little entertainment does not hurt too.
Yeah,
But that's why when I started this conversation, I said it's about balance. It's about finding that balance. It's about knowing how to hack your own brain again and how to hack your device to ensure that you do not become a slave to it.
that's very great. Thank you for this
Yeah.
insight. And we're just wrapping up the episode soon, so I'll just ask you a few closing questions to enable us get more insight
Yeah.
on practices to aid our well-being. Now, for young professionals in tech, media, or business,
Hmm.
what are like 2 to 3 small changes they can make, maybe in this week or this month, to enable them improve their digital well-being?
Yeah. Okay. That's a fantastic question. And that's where we're heading. So
Yeah.
the first thing, is be aware. Check your phone use, actually ask yourself, okay, my phone use healthy. How can I find out if my phone use healthy? And then you go back to all the pointers we gave earlier about knowing if your phone use healthy. And then you move on to the next step. If my phone use is unhealthy right now, if I spend too much hours, how much time do I spend on each app? Okay, am I mostly working on my phone? Is it work? Is it just endless scrolling? Yeah.
Hmm.
So once you've also understood that, and that you can now look at the apps that are not servicing you on your phone,
Yeah.
right? You can say, the apps that I spend the most time on, if they're not productive, what can I do to ensure that I don't spend as much time on these applications? There are limits for those times. You can set a limit. For me, my Twitter, which is like the app that takes my whole life, then at the time, yeah, I set it to 15 minutes
Per
a
day?
day. So yeah,
Wow, that's
per
pretty
day.
minimal.
Yeah, I set it to 15 minutes because I know that I can be on Twitter for 4 hours. There's a lot of information there and all of that. So I set it to 15 minutes. And once it's 15 minutes, the app shuts down on its own and I can't open it anymore unless I decide to now do like Ojoro and go and now extend the time,
Yeah.
which is very
So
foolish.
much,
When
so
I'm
much
doing that, I am telling
evil.
myself, you're a fool. You know that you're not doing the right thing.
No,
So,
you
but
have to be
but
smart
yeah,
on
so
yourself.
you do that.
Yeah.
You do that. You set limits on apps that are not productive. And then also you don't pick up your phone first thing in the morning because it messes up with your mind. You really cannot now have a productive day, at least for some people. If the first thing
Yeah.
you're picking up is news and lots of information in your mind is no longer, optimized to be focused for that day. So the very first, I'm sure some of, you know, the people listening to this know that the first hour in your day or the first 2 hours is very important. What you do sets the tone for the rest of the day. So don't pick up
Yes.
your phone first thing in the morning. If your phone, you can put your phone in another room. If you're living in a one room, you can put it at the farthest end of the room where you have to walk. Before you walk there, maybe your sense will come back and you say, no, 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 let's keep this thing away first. Yeah, so
Yeah.
don't pick up your phone first thing in the day. And optimize your apps basically just for the apps, because there's another thing that happens when you go on social media. Sometimes you're doom scrolling and you're looking at bad news and bad information, or looking at people who have made it and comparing yourselves negatively to those people. So
True.
sometimes it's good to unfollow like accounts that do not service you follow like, pages and all of those things where that does not get your mind to the state where it should. Instead, follow people who tell you, don't be on your phone, go back to work, something like that. Yeah, so
Yeah,
exactly,
a good
motivate
one.
yourself. Yeah, but ultimately, it comes down to discipline. There's so many tips on ensuring that, you don't use your phone excessively. You can put your phone on grayscale. There's a grayscale mode. Sometimes I do that if I know that I've not been able to win the battle this week. I can just set my phone to grayscale and there's no color on my phone at all. So when I pick it up, it's looking so bland and boring, and I'm not interested anymore because like I said, a lot of psychological things have gone into making the phone. So all of these little psychological things, like your red notifications, I turn off my notifications completely because
Okay,
that chime,
that's
that sound, that
excellent.
red
Yeah,
badge gives me I need to answer this, I need to answer this. But no, you don't need to, because it will be there when you're ready. It will be there for you to answer, except it's work, and even work should have a time and all of that. So it's just striking the balance and, looking for the right system that works for you the best, and,
okay.
just putting that into place for yourself.
Thank you so much for this. Now, to wrap up this episode, I want you to tell us about your NGO, what you're focused on, and also tell us about your ebook when it's going to be launching, because I've read some part of it and I do look forward to having it published so that I could share it to my community.
Thank you for setting me up, because that ebook is just looking at me and I'm looking at it and it's like, you need to finish me. Anyways, okay, so I think end of March that ebook should be
Okay.
launched. Yeah, that's the time that I've set for it, because this month is a rush for me. For my NGO, yeah. So children especially. Ha. Okay, so that is also from experience. I have met kids who, the whole thing about ADHD these days and just a lot of mental things that's going on. Children can't focus in class. Teachers have a lot to battle with. I have friends who are teachers, and I have my younger siblings as well who I've noticed, what technology and, introduction of phone into their lives at an early age has done to their minds. Their brains have not been able to properly develop. In fact, I had a cousin who couldn't speak well for up until he was like 5, because
Wow.
he was introduced to television at a very young age and phones. So
Wow.
there are lots of downsides. Yeah. In fact, children can become autistic just by being introduced to the television too early or phones too early. And then some of them can become really erratic and really restless because their brains have been wired from a young age to get things at the go, at the go, at the go, at the go, like this, just as we're talking about earlier,
Yeah.
that people are not able to sit down and listen to long podcasts or watch long documentaries, or because, your reels are short, they are 30 seconds, 1 minute, and
Yes.
all
I,
of those things.
I was telling you this at the earliest phase of the recording.
Exactly. People can't listen.
Now,
Exactly.
the episodes that are like 10 minutes or less, they get a lot of listens, like above 100. But
Mhm.
for the episode that we put in so much effort to have like great guests tell us so much of their experience in tech, we're talking 30 minutes, 48 minutes. That's the max we've
Yeah,
had.
and those are the ones with the
Listens
meat.
are so low. Like people just don't have that attention span to go listen to such long recordings.
Exactly. Exactly. So imagine as an adult not having that attention span, because and these things have a reason. It's not like we just don't have attention anymore, or this generation is just so fast. No, it's because of social media. It's because of how fast and how easy everything has become. So we're used to quick, 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 fast.
Yeah, on the
Everything
go.
is moving fast. So imagine how that affects, a young baby of 3 months, 6 months being, introduced to those things, or, a child of 3 having a phone, or a teenager of 15 having a phone, not just attention span, but also psychology in terms of their self esteem, how they see themselves. I have young teenagers who I talk to who are comparing themselves to, oh, that girl, her hips are so wide and she's so
Wow.
proportionate, or her skin is
What?
so flawless because of TikTok. There was a research that happened that children
Wow.
of 15 and under they'll see a product on TikTok and they are badgering their parents. We need to buy this. We need to buy this. Or they are looking for money. We need to get this. And then they're going to get those products to put on their skin at that age. Or you have young boys who are seeing a lot of things on social media, cars and everything. And then Yahoo will not ever end in our society. See, these things, they spiral into a lot of things. And it's such a big
Yes.
deal. And we're not paying attention to it. And it's ruining this generation, the next, and the one that is to come, if we do not, actually do something, create awareness, advocate for some of these things, and then not not to demonize. I definitely do not demonize technology. In fact, I understand the necessity, the ease that it has brought to our world, but we need to be conscious of the
Yes.
effects. We need to be conscious of how to, use it in such a way that it helps and doesn't take away from us. So there's healthy use and then there's unhealthy use. And that unhealthy use is what we're talking about, is what my NGO tries to deal with and tries to educate young people about, so that you don't go living life and you don't know why you're feeling the way you're feeling, or why the things are happening to you that are happening to you, in your body, in your mind, and you are clueless. We bring you to that place where you're able to understand what this thing is about and how to curtail it, and how to, really just help yourself structure your life in such a way that you can be very intentional and productive.
Thank you so much for this. I really do look forward to a partnership with your NGO in the nearest future to aid.
Absolutely. We definitely gonna get partners. We look
All
forward
right.
to
Thank
working
you
it. Yeah, because we also teach digital literacy, and that's very important. So, we have to just balance it out. And, what you're doing here with your podcast is exactly what should be happening with technology, not all the other things that is, going on. So yeah,
Thank you
absolutely looking forward to that
so
as
much,
well.
Ella. I'm excited about all you've shared, and thank you so much for agreeing to be on this podcast. So we've officially come to the end of this podcast, and I'd like to highlight one thing that I've taken from this episode. You have thought of how to strike a balance with technology and our personal lives.
Mhm.
And if we make this very intentional, it's a lot more easy for us to track and see the progress of how our digital well-being is being
Yep,
like
will be.
optimized. Yeah.
Hmm.
So this episode is not about quitting technology, guys. It's just about
Yeah,
consciously handling things in a
finding
more and
balance.
striking the balance. So
Hmm.
thank you so much once again, Miss Ella. And
Thank
as
you.
always, technology is your advantage.